Right now on 13 Action News Live at 6, the polls are now open for early voting in Nevada's primary election. A baseball team with a unique bond. These players don't let their disabilities limit them on the diamond. And parts of the valley could see some rain and wind this weekend, but it should be out of the way before Memorial Day, hopefully. Let's go to 13 First Alert meteorologist Carla Welga for the forecast. Hey, Carla.
Hey there. Well, what a difference a day made. We had that cooler air blow in last night and today, and take a look. We ran 11 degrees below average for this time of year. 81 degrees was the high at McCarran, North Las Vegas at 81, and Nellis Air Force Base also 81 degrees this afternoon. And we're not too far from there as we speak. Henderson at 78, a couple of 80s at McCarran and the North Las Vegas Airport, but it's still breezy to windy out there. So here's your planner for tonight. Temperatures are going to be very, very mild. The cloud cover that is out there right now is going to thin out and will remain breezy through the late night hours. I think the winds will ease off as we head into Sunday. There's our wind maker, so I'll tell you how long that cool air is going to stick around, whether we could see chances for rain, and of course take a look at your Memorial Day forecast in your 13 First Alert forecast.
A person is fighting for their life after being struck by a vehicle in a hit and run Friday night. It happened on East Bonanza near Eastern. Metro says the pedestrian wasn't in the crosswalk when they were hit by the car. The driver took off. Details about the driver and vehicle are limited, but witnesses describe the car as a Hyundai sedan. The victim was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The crash remains under investigation. Right now, voters are casting their ballots for Nevada's primary election. Voting goes through June 8th. Polling places around the valley open and close at different times, but this year voters can cast their ballots at any polling station. Voters will pick candidates for governor, attorney general, the U.S. Senate, and 4 House seats. Last night, the Democratic candidates running for one of those 4 seats took part in a debate hosted by 13 Action News and the Nevada Independent. The candidates hashed out several national issues impacting voters in Congressional District 4. Those candidates are running to replace Congressman Ruben Kihuen, who decided not to run again following sexual misconduct allegations. If you'd like to watch the debate in its entirety, it's posted on our Facebook page. And former Nevada Senator Harry Reid has endorsed Clark County Commission Chair Steve Sisolak for governor. Sisolak's campaign released a campaign advertisement yesterday where Reid said Sisolak, quote, will be one of the best governors we've ever had. Meanwhile, the NRA is endorsing Adam Laxalt for Nevada governor. The association made the announcement yesterday. The Political Action Committee says Laxalt has earned an A+ rating from the organization. That's the highest grade NRA bestows on elected officials. Well, it's a different kind of baseball team made up of all amputee players playing right here in Las Vegas. 13 Action News reporter Austin Carter got a chance to talk with the players at their game today and has this inspiring story.
Well, they're called the Warriors, and they definitely are just that. Each player fighting a battle of their own, but despite it all, they still hit the field like everybody else.
You know, the way they play ball, you wouldn't even know that anybody even has a disability.
Meet the LS Warriors National Amputee Baseball Team.
We come out here and play and see how some of these guys can do it with no legs or arms and stuff like that.
The first in the men's adult baseball league, made up of all amputee players, like war veteran Todd Reed, who lost his leg during Operation Desert Storm.
To be part of a team where everybody on the team has a disability, you know, it makes it very interesting.
The team here in the Valley for the Las Vegas Open, playing against other able-bodied teams in the league.
It's even more of a, you know, more fun when we go out there and play able-bodied teams and we're able to beat them.
And despite what some would say is a setback, the players say their disability is what bonds them together.
And we've all become more of a family.
We can be ourselves, because some people who are just able bodies, they don't understand what we go through.
And what motivates them to keep going.
We don't consider it a disability. You know, we're just a little different than everybody else, but we go out there and have fun and do the same thing they do and sometimes do it better.
And the Warriors' next game in the Las Vegas Open is tomorrow. They'll be up against the D-Bat Angels at Durango High School at 10 a.m. Austin Carter, 13 Action News.
Well, as many of us are enjoying this 3-day weekend, the Las Vegas 51s combined America's pastime with a very special reminder of why we have a Memorial Day holiday. Last night was Military Appreciation Night at the ballgame. 93-year-old World War II veteran Sergeant Roger Bain threw out the first pitch. And later in the newscast, we'll show you why he's a humble member of America's greatest generation.
Well, ball game.
Hey, well, go Knights go. The Vegas Golden Knights got into practice at City National Arena this morning ahead of Monday's start of the Stanley Cup Final. And Golden Knights fever is reaching fever pitch. The team actually announcing practices have been reaching capacity. So now they'll only admit fans on a first-come, first-served basis. Game 1 of the final starts Monday at 5 p.m. at T-Mobile Arena. And if you plan on heading out to Toshiba Plaza to watch the game, be sure and get there early because it's expected to be very crowded. And looking ahead tomorrow, the Las Vegas Aces will play their inaugural home opener. Tip-off is at 5:30 p.m. at the Mandalay Bay Event Center against the Seattle Storm. Fans attending the game will not only enjoy the team's first home game, but they'll also get a star-studded lineup of some special performances. We're talking about Boyz II Men, the Jabbawockeez, and the cast members from Michael Jackson 1. They're all set to perform and take pictures. The Aces will also unveil the team's mascot during their home opener. That canceled summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un to curtail North Korea's nuclear and missile program may happen after all. Meanwhile, North and South Korean leaders holding a surprise meeting once again. ABC's David Packer has more information from President Trump.
President Trump's on and off again summit with North Korea's leader may be on again.
We're going to be prepared if the meeting takes place on June 12th.
Sanders adding Saturday that an advance team is heading to Singapore as previously planned to prepare for the summit. The new developments come as the North and South Korean leaders held a surprise meeting Saturday morning. Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon Jae-in getting together for the second time in a month to discuss peace commitments they made in their first meeting and Kim's potential summit with Trump. The talks held in the demilitarized zone came just hours after South Korea expressed relief over the revived summit talks that are aimed to stop North Korea's nuclear bomb and missile program.
We're talking to them now. They very much want to do it. We'd like to do it. We're going to see what happens.
After Thursday's cancellation, the president floated the idea that the summit might be back on and might even happen on the originally scheduled day, challenging reports that his own people were saying that was just not possible. He tweeted, "The failing New York Times quotes a senior White House official who doesn't exist as saying even if the meeting were reinstated, holding it on June 12th would be impossible given the lack of time and the amount of planning needed. Wrong again. Use real people, not phony sources." But ABC News personnel heard that briefing and can confirm that a senior administration official said, quote, "A certain amount of dialogue needs to take place so that agenda is clear in the minds of these two leaders. And June 12th is in 10 minutes. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
2 Americans, both held in prison in Venezuela for 2 years, are now back in the United States. Josh Holt and his wife Amy were released overnight and reunited with family Saturday night. They're also expected to be at the White House. President Trump's confirmed Holt's release in a tweet. Holt is a former Mormon missionary from Utah. According to reports, Holt traveled to Venezuela to marry his wife. He was arrested shortly afterwards. The Washington Post reports Holt was accused by the Venezuelan government of stockpiling weapons and trying to destabilize the government. The 4th man to walk on the moon has died. Astronaut Alan Bean was 86 years old. His family says he died today in Houston after suddenly getting sick while traveling 2 weeks ago. Bain flew into space 2 times, first as the lunar module pilot on Apollo 12 and the second moon landing mission in 1969. Then in 1973, Bean was the commander of the second crewed flight to Skylab, the United States' first space station. One of the first major Atlantic storms of the season has its eye on the Gulf Coast. People from South Florida to Louisiana are all preparing for Tropical Storm Alberto. A frightening midair scare, but this time it wasn't a mechanical error. A brawl breaks out. Find out why one passenger was pretty upset. And count on Chopper 13 to bring you breaking news fast and first. We'll be right back. A brawl breaks out midair aboard an American Airlines flight. It all started when a flight attendant told a passenger he couldn't have any more beers. The passenger then starts to call the flight attendant names and becomes aggressive, and moments later, the fight breaks out. A law enforcement officer in a plaid shirt gets involved. A third passenger finally separates them. When the plane lands, the passenger is met by police, and they escort him off the plane. Hawaii County officials say the number of structures destroyed by lava on the Big Island is now up to 82, and that includes 37 homes. The Kilauea volcano has been erupting for 3 weeks, and it's been spewing lava from cracks that emerged in neighborhoods and sending ash sky high from its summit. Earthquakes have also been occurring. About 2,000 people were ordered to evacuate from the rural communities where the lava fissures opened. Right now, Gulf Coast residents are bracing for subtropical storm Alberto. It's gathering strength in the Gulf of Mexico. The storm's first outer bands are already dumping rain on South Florida. ABC News meteorologist Rob Marciano has the latest developments from Pensacola.
Along the Gulf Coast this holiday weekend, they're preparing for a deluge, filling up sandbags to shield homes from floodwaters.
We've already put some sandbags down there, which help, but with as much rain as we're going to get, we need more.
Subtropical storm Alberto moving towards the southeastern U.S., bringing with it 15 to 25 inches of rain in some areas, according to the National Hurricane Center.
It's a slow-moving, ill-defined system, which is probably the worst nightmare. That's going to be pumping in a lot of water, a lot of rainwater.
Mississippi's governor has signed a state of emergency proclamation to activate National Guard troops. So has Florida's governor.
It looks like we're going to get a lot of rain. I think even in South Florida, we're going to get 4 to 8 inches of rain, which means we have a chance for some flooding.
Officials warning Gulf Coast residents to secure all loose objects before the worst of the storm hits Monday. More and more residents realizing that the first tropical storm of the season could pack a punch.
A lot of times people don't get prepared because they're like, oh, it's just Florida weather, we won't get hit. But I think the last few storms, especially Irma, I think it woke a lot of people up.
And as the storm gets closer, rip currents will be on the increase, so lifeguards are advising people not to go into the water. Rob Marciano, ABC News, Pensacola, Florida.
Now a major food recall to tell you about. Hormel Foods is recalling more than 228,000 pounds of canned pork and chicken products. They may be contaminated with pieces of metal. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says the products in question were produced from February 8th through February 10th of this year. They include 12-ounce metal cans of Hormel Spam Classic with a best-by date of February 2021. The cans were shipped across the U.S. Anyone with the affected products are asked to either throw them out or bring them back to the store where they bought them. The embattled president of the University of Southern California has agreed to resign. The school announced on Twitter Friday night. The announcement comes amid a growing scandal involving a former campus gynecologist, Dr. George Tyndall. Tyndall was fired last year for inappropriate behavior. At least 7 women are suing both him and the university. The women accused Tyndall, who worked at the school for nearly 30 years, of sexual misconduct during examinations and for using racist and sexually explicit language at appointments. Family, friends, and loved ones paid their respects to a 15-year-old killed during last week's high school shooting in Santa Fe, Texas. Christian Garcia died blocking the door to the art room where an alleged gunman tried to get in. At the funeral for the teen, officials praised Garcia for the lives he saved as he held the shooter off. The teenager wanted to enlist in the military someday. His sacrifice was recognized and he was given military honors. A community in Indiana is counting their blessings after yesterday's middle school shooting. A teacher and student are recovering and are expected to be okay. And for the first time, we're hearing from that teacher who appears to have prevented what could have been a massacre. ABC's Alex Perez brings us that story.
As investigators hunt for answers this morning, a quick-thinking science teacher is being credited with saving lives. Students running to safety as the nightmare unfolded Friday morning.
Yes, active shooter, Noblesville West Middle School.
9:06 a.m. inside a 7th grade classroom at this middle school in Noblesville, Indiana. Authorities say students were taking a test when one male student asked to be excused.
He left the classroom. He then returned armed with 2 handguns.
The gunman opening fire, striking teacher Jason Seaman 3 times, also hitting a student. 13-year-old Ethan Stonebreaker was in the classroom. He says Seaman immediately jumped into action.
Mr. Seaman immediately was yelling and running right at him and tackled him straight to the ground.
Seaman, students say, throwing a basketball at the gunman to distract him and then running towards the bullets, tackling the gunman.
How lucky do you think you are and the other students in that classroom?
If it weren't for him, a lot of us could have been hurt. He pretty much protected all of us.
Authorities descending on the school. In the chaos, students like CJ Livingston barricading themselves in classrooms, hoping to stay alive.
We were all trying to be quiet, and there were a lot of people crying around me.
I just didn't want to die.
Students eventually escorted to waiting buses. Horrified parents in tears, hugging their children. And we are hearing from that fearless teacher for the first time, providing this statement to ABC News overnight. To all the students, you are all wonderful, and I thank you for your support. You are the reason I teach.
We're told both the teacher and the student who were injured are recovering.
Well, tonight the Plaza Hotel and Casino will host its annual Memorial Day luau. There will be entertainment from traditional Polynesian dancers and an all-you-can-eat buffet of Hawaiian cuisine. The event starts at 8 p.m. and tickets are $50 a person. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend, a time to honor our military men and women, and it's also the unofficial start to summer. And let's not forget some of the good deals at the store. First, for the holiday weekend barbecue, we found Home Depot is having a sale on outdoor grills like this one. They've cut the price by $50. We headed over to Best Buy to check out TVs. This one used to be $499.99. Now it's $299.99. That's a savings of $200. And you have to look great at the holiday weekend get-together, so we found plenty of clothing stores with some great deals this weekend. For example, at the Gap, every item is half off, and if you shop online, use the promo code PARTY and you'll get another 30% off through today. And when you're ready to get some rest after all your shopping, we found some deals on mattresses too. Mattress Firm is selling popular beds for more than 30% off. Well, we all know how expensive gas is, right? But some of you could get a break just in time for Memorial Day. Sunday from noon to 2, active military, veterans, law enforcement, and first responders can get gas for $1.99. And that offer also includes a free car wash. This is at the U.S. Gas and Showtime Car Wash near Tropicana and Jones.
Well, our storm system that is rolling through the area has kept us in the breezy category for most of the day. In fact, the Southern Highlands did edge into windy with 36-mile-per-hour peak gusts so far for today, 31 in Nellis. And other than that, we were closer to 30 in Henderson and at McCarran. And the winds are going to taper as we move throughout the rest of the evening. But we'll still stay in the breezy category through the late night hours. I think once we get to tomorrow morning, they'll really start to ease off into the single digits. There's your satellite radar composite in our big system. You can clearly see that counterclockwise rotation. That will continue to push off to the east and take the cooler air and the winds with it. So definitely good news there. If you like the warmer weather, it is on the way. I promise you that. Desert Doppler, absolutely quiet. Not really seeing too many clouds out there, but we are going to get a little push for tonight. The model's still indicating that this evening, the higher elevations could see a stray shower or two. That is 7:30. And then you can see by 9 o'clock some of that pushing down into Mount Charleston, still out at the Sheep Range and near Indian Springs. There's 10 o'clock, sort of still lingering out there. But once we head into the overnight hours, it does clear out. And by tomorrow morning, this has also been consistent. Early tomorrow, this is 4 a.m. Maybe some of this could squeeze down into the valley, but it would be very, very light and just not a whole lot, not very heavy rain. There's 5:30, and then we wipe out the chances for rain for the rest of Sunday. Could still see something in the mountains in the afternoon, but I don't think it's going to come down into the valley. So peak gusts for tomorrow, I think to about 20 in the early morning hours. As we move throughout the day, the winds are going to get lighter and lighter, and they'll stay light on Monday and on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, here's your first alert for the next system that's going to start to roll in. That will once again bring us wind and a little bit of a cool down. Your allergy forecast still consistent in the moderate category by Monday, however, down to 4 point now, so that's a little bit lower, almost low. 80 degrees at McCarran, 78 in Henderson, 71 in Enterprise, and overnight we're going to see mid-60s, some low 60s definitely peppered in. Anthem at 61, 62 in Summerlin, Centennial Hills also at 62, and tomorrow there's the warm-up, still not at the 90-degree mark, so we'll still be below average for this time of year, but it is warmer than today. 86 Sunrise Manor, 88 in eastern portions of Henderson, Southern Highlands at 86 and Centennial Hills at 85. If you're doing something outdoors for tomorrow, it is going to be lovely. Again, in the higher elevations, could still see some showers, but there you see the temperatures, 80 degrees in Red Rock, perfect day for hiking. Mount Charleston at 61 and Lake Mead also a little toastier, but the good news is that the wind should not be a problem for boating out there. And whatever you're planning on Monday, it is going to continue to get warmer. 94 degrees on that day. In the morning, it'll be nice and cool. 70 degrees will be the low in the morning, but we'll get to the mid-90s and we'll have mainly sunny skies. And after that, we'll continue to warm up. Close to the 100-degree mark on Tuesday and Wednesday. Not quite there. Breezy winds start on Wednesday with our next system. Then we'll be on the low end of the windy category on Thursday, Friday. We're back to the upper 90s on Friday, but then we warm right back up as we start off next weekend. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Carla. Well, there are plenty of job openings around the valley, and we're working with Nevada Job Connect to make sure that you know about them. There's an opening for a bread baker with at least 2 years of experience. Also, an opening for a client support specialist. Pay starts at $15 an hour. And there's an opening for a bilingual member services agent. Pay is $12.25 an hour. For more information on these jobs and other openings around the Valley, just go to ktnv.com/jobs. A packed crowd stands for Military Appreciation Night at the 51s game, and for one veteran, he was living in the moment. Coming up next, hear about his fun night on the baseball diamond. Don't forget to download the all-new 13 Action News app. It features live streaming, video on demand, and a handy weather radar. It's free in the App Store and in Google Play. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, earlier in the newscast, we told you about the 93-year-old veteran who threw out the first pitch at last night's 51s game. Well, 13 Action News anchor Carla Wade spoke with him, and he says he enjoyed every minute of it.
In 93 years, World War II Army Sergeant Roger Bain has surely experienced and felt a lot of things. But standing atop the pitcher's mound at Cashman Field,
it was quite a feeling. Never expected it.
He's a humble member of America's greatest generation.
My arm was crippled up,
who worried that perhaps he didn't throw out the greatest pitch.
I can't throw overhand, so I had to throw underhand.
But the crowd, packed in the stands for a special military appreciation night, they certainly didn't mind. And in the end, neither did he.
Oh, I'm enjoying myself. I really like being around all these people. Just young people, it's nice being around people.
And it's nice for people to be around men like Mr. Bain.
You need to take that time to really think about what Memorial Day is all about. It is about those who've come before us, and more specifically those who've actually given the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that we have the freedoms and security that we have today.
Because unless we let them know, men like Mr. Bain, who sees himself in pretty ordinary terms.
I enjoy life. I live alone, my own home, take care of myself. That way I don't have to argue with anybody.
Would never know just how special they really are. Carla Wade, 13 Action News.
Well, a small baseball fan isn't too happy with his dad. Check this out. While watching the Braves and the Red Sox, Dad drops the foul ball, and his son can't believe it. He doesn't even get the souvenir. You can see him pouting and confused, probably saying, "Dad, how'd you drop that?" Pretty funny there. Well, Carla will have another look at your forecast, but right now, here's a live look outside the Valley. You're watching 13 Action News, where you get breaking news fast and first. We'll be right back.
All right, there's your 13 First Alert 7-day planner. The warm-up begins tomorrow, 87 degrees, and then on Memorial Day, we're back into the mid-90s, almost at 100 Tuesday and Wednesday. Breezy winds start again on Wednesday with the next system. We'll be in the low end of the windy category Thursday. Friday, we see a tiny little cool down there, but we bounce right back on Saturday, and of course, go Knights go.
Go Knights go. I like the graphics there.
Yeah.
And here's a look at what's coming up in tonight's primetime lineup right here on ABC at 8 o'clock, American Idol, 10 at 2020, and then keep it right here for 13 Action News Live at 11. That's our news for right now. Stay with us. Judge Judy's up next. We're always on at ktnv.com. We'll see you back here for Action News Live at 11. Thanks for watching, everyone.